Volo. 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 So.
What's that little girl's name from Legends?
Akari?
No, that one.
Kogita.
Yeah.
So, how Pokemon Legends Arceus accidentally created a savior narrative, originally titled White Savior Narrative, until I remembered, the protagonists aren't white.
Oh, really?
They have light-skinned savior, let's say that. Okay, so background. The game is set during the Pokemon world's equivalent of the Meiji Restoration, which was from 1868 to 1889, around 150 years ago from the time of Diamond and Pearl, so that's just do 2007 minus 150 there. That came from the Terra leak, actually, the 150. The player is sent back in time from the future by Arceus, the Pokemon god, with the task of seeking out all Pokemon, whatever that means. You join the Galaxy Expedition team after you fall out of the sky from a warp hole, whose job it is to survey the land and, colonize it, essentially, in essence. Over time, the villagers and team come to trust you and accept you, the stranger who fell from the sky. In typical Pokemon game fashion, you save the world, and to catch a legendary Pokemon, in this case, multiple, and are made a hero. However, so here are the key characters and groups. The Diamond and Pearl clans, which are native to Hisui. We'll get into that later. Volo and Kogita, who are both native to Hisui, who are part of the Celestica people. Arceus and you, the player. So, the Chosen One narrative. In the story, it's reiterated how you have been the one chosen by Arceus itself to aid the people of Hisui to bring them closer to Pokemon. It's explicitly shown that the clans are unable to quell the frenzied nobles that they have spent generations taking care of. The clans are reluctant to allow outsiders to meddle with their customs, but ultimately they have no choice in the matter within the narrative due to their lack of technology and strength. Because of course, you're the only one who can do this. So after you quell all the nobles and save the world, the end result of your involvement is positive. But the unintended consequence of PLA's narrative being a mirror to the real annexation of Hokkaido makes the game borderline revisionist historical fantasy. So here from Mark J. Hudson, I've got a quote that pretty much sums up the entire deal. 19th and early 20th century interpretations of the Ainu, both in Japan and the West, relied on the notion of primitive society and assumed the Ainu were therefore doomed to extinction in the face of the natural destiny of the Japanese to colonize Hokkaido and use its natural riches. So the clans, of course, are based on the Ainu. Here's a specific picture of a group of Ainu from Hokkaido, taken around the 1880. We don't know for sure. This is after the Japanese annexed Hokkaido. So the Diamond Clan is above, and the Pearl Clan is below. The Pearl Clan are based in the Alabaster Islands, and the Diamond Clan are based in the marshlands area. I always forget the name of that. So the Ainu territory, essentially, up here, is that the Pearl Clan would be situated up near Wakanai, which is the closest tip you can get to the Sakhalin Islands and the Kurile Islands. Jubilee Village would be over here near Sapporo. And essentially, Ainu, or clan territory, all encompasses this. This is all of what they are involved in. So much of their land is technically theirs. So relations to the real group, much like the origin of the Ainu and Japanese Yamato themselves, the origin of the Celestica, Sinjo people, and the clans are unclear. However, DNA analysis have revealed that the current Ainu population living in Japan have stronger Jomon DNA than the mainland Japanese, whom they are both descendants of. The Jomon people were the original inhabitants of Japan. They were there for 10,000 years, basically, in what is known as the Jomon to Yayoi transition period. The Yayoi are the closer to the real Japanese people, quote-unquote real. I don't know why I said real, but we'll get into that. So, in my opinion, the Sakhalin Ainu, which are from more the northern Russian area, are most likely Pearl Clan, with the Diamond Clan most likely being Hokkaido Ainu. There's been a lot of emigration out of Hokkaido into Hokkaido. The Ainu have gone in and out, trading. So they've never been completely isolated from the world like a lot of people believe. Cranial studies from the suckling Ainu have revealed that the indigenous people of Japan branched off over time, which can explain why the paternal DNA of the Ainu versus the Japanese is completely different from each other despite sharing similar maternal DNA. That's a biology thing that you'd understand better if you knew about biology. Using this, the Celestica people are likely to have been the ancestors of the Sinjo people, since the Celestica people migrated out of Hisui at some point in the past after their civilization fell into ruin. Somewhere. We don't know where Sinjo is. And like I said, Pro Clan, Sekline, Diamond, Hokkaido. So here are the Celestica. The Celestica are inspired by both the Jomon and Ainu peoples, and they're a culture that is now near extinct, that's at least 1,000 to 1,500 years old, which would put that right at the start of AD 0. So that is specifically the transition between Jomon and Yayoi. Kogito's implied to be hundreds of years old, so she knows quite a lot, as you can see from these quotes. The Celestica worshipped Arceus, Dialga, Palkia, and at one point Giratina, unlike the clans who only worship Dialga and Palkia. They don't know the names Dialga and Palkia due to some, history being lost when it was passed down. So, yeah. The Yayoi culture therefore may be seen as one of which the continental culture implanted itself firmly on the existing Jomon culture. As Yayoi culture diffused through Western Japan, Jomon culture became almost obliterated in the initial period. The Celestica people vanished long before the events of the current story, but their customs were adopted by the clans. This supports a migration theory, which parallels actual history. Scattered throughout Hisui are the ruins of the Celestica settlements. It is easy to see that these people were once prosperous. Statues of Giratina, Palkia, and Proba Pass in the Coronet Highlands, and some more Celestica ruins in the Moonview Arena. Gravestones, we've got the Shrouded Ruins and the Ancient Quarry. Let our wishes reach heaven's crown, the people together vowed. So they and their Pokemon bore stone to the peak of heaven's mount. The people carved and gathered stones in shapes of Pokemon, the 10 Pokemon that Sinnoh shone its almighty light upon. Long and longer yet ago, Celestica was here, but folk and town alike both did disappear. In time came new folk sailing across the sea, called by their love for Sinnoh, great and almighty. But different were the Sinnoh that each folk did hold dear, and bitter strife and angry war were always at the near. Celestica, they called themselves, the name not theirs to take, yet claim it from the past they did for tragic quarrel's sake. So once again did our name live, though all our people gone. But even if the name endures, its heart does not live on. Once it shone upon us all with all the warmth of the welcome sun. But now we weep, to grief we fall, starved of light, now it has gone. In Japanese specifically, this is referring to most likely Arceus, because the literal translation is sun. So, in some they go, despair withal, in search of it they reel and run. They quit their hearts, abandon hall, and leave our lands to be undone. And when they're gone beyond recall, this land will be a home to none. This land will only ever be a home to Pokemon. I did draw the art for this, so grace your eyes upon it. So, Volo's wish is to answer the mysteries of the world, notably how the world came to be, why life is unfair and full of strife and suffering, find out who and where he came from, and where life will take him, essentially. Volo's past is unknown, but it's certain that tragedy struck him rather young, based on what he says in the game. And in Pokemon Masters, he views relationships as give and take because it's implied someone stabbed him in the back in the past, but we don't know anything more than that. He's inspired by the myths of the ancient hero of old, spoken in old verses 3, 4, and 10. He undoubtedly pleads for Arceus to answer him, yet no response awaited him. So, no claws nor fangs, no strength to claim. No man could hope to hold his own to mighty Pokemon. But bolts of light rained down one day, 10 times they fell, 10 times struck true upon 10 Pokemon. Then to weak man did these 10 turn his strength to be, and all were blessed by loyal Pokemon. Were not these bolts a gift to man? Were they not your almighty grace, great Sinnoh, Paragon? 10 Pokemon, the ancient hero's loyal retinue. Though these companions are now gone, their noble duty passes on to generations new. The people thank the 10 descendants for their generous toil by lining vessels built to last with water clear and choice repassed before the arenas' soil. 'Twas long ago he earned the name Hero. He led his retinue, 10 Pokemon, against the almighty unknowable, Arceus. In battle did his valiance proclaim at last the strength of humble humankind. The great unknown approved this feat, and to its domain of no place returned. You do not have permission to view this file. Okay, that's okay. Volo manipulates you at the end of the game into doing his bidding for him by gathering the plates of Arceus, just as the ancient hero once did. In doing this, gathering all the plates at Spear Pillar, Arceus is said to come down to you. In essence, that's what the legends say. Volo is enraged at how you, someone unrelated to the Celestica, has been chosen over him. I've devoted myself to Arceus beyond any other. I've worshipped it at the creator of our entire world. All the time I spent poring over the legends. Everything that I've done. You outsider. It's almost as if you were spat out of the space-time just to get in my way. Okay, wait, did this not update? Okay, yeah, so here's some closing thoughts, some final thoughts. Basically, this is my miscellaneous thing where I explain everything, but I think it's clear to see that there were some oopsies in the way of accidentally mirroring what actually happened in Hokkaido and in actual history. The Japanese kind of made an oopsie here, apparently. Volo acts much like a misguided person. He wants to remake the world to make it better, to get rid of all that strife and anger that he's gone through, as well as other people. And his god never answered him, but he answered to you, someone who isn't even from this land, let alone someone who's part of his people. Arceus abandoned his people over 1,000 years ago, and now suddenly you and this new group of people who aren't even from this land come in, and then suddenly their own god is like, yeah, I like you. I don't like the other people. I like you specifically. So it's kind of like, it's a bit confusing, because it's like the message is almost, I'm reading a lot into it, but in essence, it's kind of interesting when you like really pick at the nitty-gritty details, essentially. And that's all. That's all. Great. Yes.
Did you draw that image where he was kneeling? That was awesome.
Yes, yes.
I didn't hear you properly. I didn't know if you said you did or not.
Yes, I did. Yeah.
Well, can you go back to that? Because that's.
Yeah, it's based on a It's based on a Vocaloid song, actually. If I can.
It's awesome.
Yeah, actually, I can bring it up right here. I've got time. I actually rushed through this. Actually, it's only been 12 minutes.
Take your time,
No, yeah. Sacrifice. Sorry if my points were a little unorganized. I was like struggling to sacrifice sheep.
Don't die.
Gumi.
Be more specific.
There we go.
Scissor, I don't know.
Specifically,